So I will call to order Board of Education meeting 16.05. 2.0. Dr. Lake, do we have any changes to the agenda?
We do not.
Okay. 3.0, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Andrew and Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, it is now time for our Pledge of Allegiance. So I have two of our awesome students from Sparing Middle School, and I believe that's Kenna and Ben that are going to come forward and lead us. Thank you so very much. We appreciate that. Good job. Next, we'll move to 4.0, which is special recognitions and something new for us, the learning report. Sparing Middle School will do special recognitions, but something that's changed is they'll also do their learning report as well. We used to have a longer meeting in the spring, I don't know, 2-3 hours, Dr. Boger? Several. So we shortened it. We decided to do, let's do recognition and also learn about our school. So I will ask Dr. Lauren Boger to come up as principal of Sparing Middle School and recognize your Teacher of the Year, Support Staff of the Year, your students, and do your learning report.
This way. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sparing's Board Night. What a wonderful way to start off by recognizing 4 outstanding individuals. So first up, please join me in meeting Mrs. Colleen McCain, our Teacher of the Year. Come on up, Colleen. So a little bit about meeting Miss McCain. She is our Teacher of the Year this year. It's her 14th year in the Lindbergh School District. Her social studies classroom brings in teaching and project-based approaches that are aligned not only to standards, but big-time relevance. She is also our girls basketball coach for 8th grade, so be sure to ask her about that and what that looks like on and off the court, and ask her about taking the team to St. Louis University over the last several years. She has served as our building NEA representative, advocates tirelessly for students and colleagues and the broader community, and she's also on the beloved calendar committee. Don't forget that. Her impact extends beyond academics and athletics, and you really do exemplify what it means to be a rockstar educator for us at Sparing Middle School. Congratulations, Colleen, on this well-deserved recognition. And also, she has her fan club here tonight as well. If everybody could clap here for Will and Rosemary McCain. 2 Lindbergh Flyers right there. Next up, please give it up for our support staff of the year, Miss Anita Puff. Come on up. So if you've been listening last year and you were in tune, you know that there was quite a bit going on sometimes in the world of facilities and the unknown. So Miss Anita Puff, you are our support staff of the year. You're our lead custodian. You're the cornerstone of daily operation, and you are always there to tackle anything that might come our way, right? Including a flood. She actually put out a fire in the cafeteria kitchen. We've had wind damage, power outages, cold days, all the things you can imagine, and she is always here to keep things running smoothly and safely. You are my go-to girl. Congratulations, Anita Puff, Support Staff of the Year.
Congratulations, Anita.
All right, next up, we get the pleasure of introducing two outstanding students from Sparing Middle School. First up, please join me, Kenna Haynes. So we have a tradition, this is our 7th year of recognizing outstanding 8th graders who really do show what it means to be a Sparing Flyer each and every day. And Kenna, from the day that you started in 6th grade and you got out of that car at parent drop-off, you have worn a smile each and every day. You really do mean what it means to me to be ready for school and a kid that's happy to come to middle school. Your teachers have said about you, Kenna embodies the true spirit of Sparing, demonstrating that success is not just about achievements, but also about the energy and kindness we bring to our community. Congratulations, Kenna, and being such an example for us all. And also, Kenna is joined by her crowd tonight, the Haynes family. Give it up for them as well. All right, and next up, please join me, Ben Koizenkoten. So please meet Ben Koizenkoten, our outstanding 8th grader, also nominated by his teachers. Ben has shared that you are looking forward to high school because you have had so many opportunities in middle school. When I asked you about what pathways you want to take, you said to me, I want to do it all, like all the pathways. So you are just really eager to embrace every challenge and opportunity that comes your way. You're looking forward to band, golf, and all the things. Your positive attitude and commitment to excellence make you a standout student and leader at Sparing. Congratulations, Ben. We know you'll have a great year and look forward to continuing to hear your stories at LHS. Congrats, Ben. And Ben is also joined by the Koizenkoten family this evening as well. Thank you guys for all being here. And I enjoyed sharing all of these outstanding stories from our Sparing family. Thank you.
Hey, don't go too far. This is you. Learning. No, we want you to highlight your school with your school community here. Yeah, come on up, and then we'll do the quick break. Yes.
All right. So first of all, shout out to IT Professionals Day, National IT Professionals Day. Dominic Jaggy, congratulations. Also, Colin David back there who's advancing my slides. So thank you very much. All right, first up, we did want to highlight that this month was our Student Board Representative Advisory Group. So they did meet this past month, and my understanding, Laura, you're going to give an update on that as well, but it went well and it was in the hangar. So let me know if you got some feedback that we need to make some action items on. So as we move forward, you will see on the first slide here, you might be like, hey, where'd that Take Flight logo go? It looks so sharp. I will tell you, this is a year as a part of our Compass Plan that we are revisiting our core values. So this year, our touchstone is clear for takeoff. You'll notice that our core values will change this year. So far, we've identified 2, community and growth. So stay tuned to see what the next t-shirt will look like next year. All right, moving forward, as we look at student growth and achievement, we're gonna highlight a couple of things here. First up, you have an example. Keep in mind, we're first, right? The first school to do this new format. So we're pulling in examples from last year, perhaps, and kind of also showing you where we're headed at the same time, if that makes sense. Okay. So for student growth and achievement here, we have a data notebook. So this is in 6th grade. This is an example of ELA. You can see a proficiency scale over to the left and where students are based on that standard on the right. And students are filling that in as they're receiving assessments back as well. So that is something that did happen last year. Okay, so that's something the kids are doing and engaging in class after receiving feedback. As you go to the next slide, you will see how teachers then are also keeping track of some of this growth and achievement over time. So where we're headed this year. Last year, students had this in their notebooks, or we were figuring out together as a middle school how to house a lot of this information. Now we know we can pull this information from our database called EduClimber, and we can actually pull in reports on standards. So on the left, you will see a graph of how we now know how we can pull in information by standard. So if I meet with a teacher, I can say, how are your students doing by standard? So each student by standard. On the right, you will see that every teacher this year, this is kind of a snapshot of what it looks like to make a data wall, a collection. So every teacher will have that as well. So when we meet together, we know exactly where each student is. So that's how we're kind of tracking our growth and achievement together. This is still a thing. We're still using our NWEA reports. This was last year's. So you may have seen this. This was our fall to spring growth in each area of ELA and math for each grade level. You can see that we met those growth projections. Okay, that's what this slide is highlighting in all grade levels and content areas except 6th grade ELA. So you might say, all right, what are we going to do about that this year? And we have already met with our teachers. We already have some of our preliminary NWEA data back for this fall. We're engaging in that. And then we're really breaking down by student, looking at individualized reports to see what else can be done. Okay, so we're looking at sort of the scope and sequence of some of the content area. We're looking at NWEA scores by strand. Most importantly, it was found that the strand of informational text was our lowest. So action steps this year for us is that in department meetings, they are identifying where informational text appears across all content areas. So that's one way and one example of how we are approaching that standard or that growth target as well. Moving forward. The next heading of Lindbergh Life Success Skills. This is also last year's data. Remember that we have not, this is actually 2 years of data, the last 2 years. We have not had Panorama yet. It will be the first 2 block days of October through our health and fitness courses. But you could see the district compass goal for participation was exceeded at 92% participation. And then we have a breakdown from year to year on the 5 areas of that SEL screener, that social emotional learning screener. You'll also see on the bottom, something new we really dug into is not only were we meeting that 40th percentile overall nationwide in all categories, but we wanted to see how we were doing in our age groups, right? We wanted to see how we were doing as compared to other middle schools. So you can kind of see there that we were exceeding the goal of 40% in that area as well. As we go to the next slide, you can see that how all of this work, especially as it relates to our Lindbergh Life Success Skills, you can see that it paid off with our National School of Character recognition. So yeah, you guys should applaud for this. Yeah. And if my math serves me correctly, and as I was reading some of the press releases, there were 8 middle schools in the nation that received this recognition this year, and Lindbergh had 2 of them. And we were one of them, so very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. So it is not an easy recognition to get, and we look forward to that highlight video. Stay tuned. Bailey Harbit's making us a highlight video. Each of the schools that receive that recognition in Lindbergh is receiving that, so stay tuned. Next up, we have a snippet of high-quality teachers and what we're doing this year for our teachers. Last year, the data on the left, you can see that our instructional design coach put together a data dashboard here for you on what instructional rounds and coaching look like at Sparing. We're moving forward this year. It was very successful, but this year we did say all teachers
will participate in the instructional rounds. So it's very cool. It was kind of an optional thing. Hey, send me an email, sign up. This year, it is an expectation that all teachers will involve themselves in rounds, and all of our new teachers to Lindbergh will be going through coaching cycles with our coaches. So if you have more questions on that process, let us know. But those are two key takeaways to know that we're working on this year. Moving forward, employee well-being. You should know we started the year. Our BLT retreat at Sparing is always something we look forward to. So we went to Chicken and Pickle. We played pickleball, and it was actually really great. And then it was like our game plan for the year. So we went to the district BLT meeting, and then we got together as a building leadership team to set all of our goals, action steps, and how we were going to measure our success. One of the things that came out of this that relates to employee well-being is our culture cruise. So all staff, they ranked these different culture crews and which ones were more of interest to them to build staff and climate culture. And then they sit in these groups now. There are 9 groups, about 10 people each, and they sit in these groups. They're kind of like family groups for the staff to start faculty meetings. And so then they're charged with like, hey, what are we going to do around these goals? And it really will, in the attached packet that we sent you, along with these slides, you'll see some of the survey questions from the District Climate and Culture Survey that we're really trying to address through Culture Cruise and improve that so all voices are heard and seen and respected at Sparing. All right, next slide. Student satisfaction. Who could forget Harper Grace coming to Sparing last year for our 7th grade? Harper Grace, we worked with Brian Meckel. He actually knows a like record producer somehow, and he called me and said, hey, you think the kids in middle school would want to hear this girl? Check her out. Well, she has a really cool story of singing the national anthem at an MLS soccer game, and I'm not a choir instructor, but I don't think it was wonderful, right? So she did receive a lot of online bullying, cyberbullying, really mean stuff. She shared her story. The kids knew that she was coming, and it's not just these slides, but you could look close. So the bottom right picture, there's a student who plays the guitar for us, and I went to him and I said, Kean, would you like to play guitar with Harper Grace? And he's like, absolutely. So they met early and they sang together, and literally all these kids, the ones on the left, they stayed after. They were on the VIP list. They did some really cool stuff. And then I knew the kids were engaged and interested in like meeting the student satisfaction when they started singing along with her songs that I didn't know, that they had like kind of researched on their own. She told me she was only gonna play 2 songs. They ended up playing 4 because the kids were requesting songs. So really cool stuff. And then again, bringing it back to the message of bullying as well. And then coming up, our next satisfaction thing where we're headed this year is the Color Run, October 12th. So be there if you can. Check it out. I think we have close to 80 people already signed up. It's from 10 to 12, and it really is to celebrate the 75th year of Lindbergh Schools. So if you want a t-shirt, you got to lock it in by Friday, though. So the green and gold color is ordered, cupcakes, all the things. Cross country and student leaders are helping us run this event. So it's going to be a good time. And then finally, our last category of personalized learning. This was in a classroom, and this one is sometimes hard to describe. What does personalized learning look like? And I thought this slide did a really great job of that, because this was in a 6th grade science class where the teacher was passing back an assignment and students actually had a proficiency scale out next to them, and they were seeing feedback, individualized feedback via the Canvas learning management system, and they could see where they needed to go next. Another growth area for us as well, if you notice that last bullet point, it says we will also have an opportunity to show exceeds expectations starting today. And I include this because that's not perfect. I'd like to see that not only at the end of an assessment, but throughout the unit design. So that I liked this slide because it showed how our teachers in the first year of implementing proficiency scales were already starting this very thorough feedback process and including the EE, but we got a lot of feedback of like, hey, this is a growth area for us and where we need to head in terms of exceeding expectations throughout the unit design. All right, so I think that is our last slide. Thank you once again. Dr. Sparks, how did I do on time?
10 minutes, 44
Oh, okay. I think that's okay. Okay, and so just in the report that is attached, you will see more of an analysis of our sparing goals. You'll see a link to our compass plan. And as usual, thank you so much. I couldn't be here without the amazing individuals behind me. And first and foremost, our outstanding students at Sparing Middle School. So thank you. Can I ask you questions?
Any questions, board? No?
Great job.
Questions?
Thank you for
Thank you
being
so
the
much.
first
Thank
one.
you. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
And so now it's break time. And you are more than welcome to leave before our regular meeting starts. All right. 5.0, consent resolutions. We have two this evening. 5.01, resolution honoring the 2024 Teacher of the Year, Mr. Tim Waters of Long Elementary. 5.02, resolution honoring the 2024 Support Staff Person of the Year, Ms. Jody Avery from Truman Middle School. Do I have a motion to approve the consent resolutions as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you so much. 6.0 is citizen communication regarding agenda items. I do not have anyone speaking this evening, so we'll move right along to 7.0 communications. 7.01 calendar of events. Megan Vetter.
Thank you. Some of the district events for this month are the Technology Board Advisory meets September 23rd. There is no school on Friday, September 27th. SSD is sponsoring a Family Academy Fair for school districts in the South St. Louis region from 9 to 12, and that's Saturday, September 28th at Southview School. Saturday, October 5th is homecoming, so please watch for more information on events from the high school. October 9th is the Facilities Board Advisory, and it meets the first night of, on October 9th, the Facility Board Advisory meets, and it's also the first night of the Lindbergh High School Fall Play, The Mousetrap, that runs through the 12th. Sunday Night Lights is October 13th, and this, where Lindbergh community is celebrating 15 years this year of Sunday Night Lights, and so the entire Lindbergh community is invited to help fill the stands and cheer on children who have braved the journey with serious childhood disease. Unity Week is October 14th through the 18th, and then we're back here Tuesday, October 15th for a board workshop and our regular Board of Education meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. 7.02 is report of meetings. This is where school board members have attended state or other meetings or parent group meetings, and they would like to report out. And September always marks our busy month of meetings. So go ahead. Who would like to go first?
I can kick us off. We did the MSBA regional meeting down at Peevely Elementary. That was fun to see some of our other regional school district members and have some good collaboration there. It was a good time. And I think we got robbed on the game.
What did we do? Football? We did trivia.
We did trivia, and we had to choose
Yeah.
a team name, and
Yeah.
since it was sports themed, we went with the Lakers.
The Tony Lakers.
Should we do our cheer?
No, we should not do our cheer. But we did win points for our cheer.
We did.
Well, I missed that meeting, so were there any like overarching themes that anybody was talking about that you want to report back?
School finance was one, I think.
Yeah.
Just understanding the debt service, the different aspects of the school finance.
And also a lot of information about how school districts are advertising to their community about running for the school board. So what are districts doing to get the information out there, to encourage people to do this line of service, and how to just really make sure that school districts are educating their community on what the school board does and how they might see that path for themselves.
Yeah, and MSBA has put together a whole toolkit for new incoming board members or new prospective board members on what that can look like. And they kind of went through some of what that looks like.
And Dunklin superintendent kind of gave an opening speech. I thought it was fabulous. I was invested the whole time he was speaking, but one of the takeaways that kind of meant a lot to me was he said, don't let nostalgia get in the way of progress. And I don't know, that was really meaningful with all the work we've been doing and kind of like honoring tradition, but being able to move forward as well, so.
Also, they had 3 delicious kinds of cobbler.
And I ate them all.
Well, that's very important. All right, thank you.
I attended with Christy a meeting that was put together by Education Plus about budget and school finance. And it was a great opportunity to get a little refresher on what I had learned during training earlier this year, but also to reconnect with some folks, new board members that were from some other districts that were in attendance as well. And then Jen and I believe, were at the parent leadership meeting last week on Thursday. And that was really exciting for me because I was not a member of a parent leadership board last year, so I didn't get to go. And I was glad to be there and see all the enthusiasm from our leaders for this upcoming year.
And we got to see the budget presentation there as well.
We also had the Dr. Lake's teaching and learning, or listening and learning, sorry, I'm mixing up my titles here. Listening and learning with the former Board of Education members, so that was kind of neat to see people who've sat in these seats before come in and, give their feedback on where we are and what we've done. It was a neat opportunity.
I think a lot of them were excited with where we were going. There was a lot of good energy in the room, I thought.
Yeah, there was something about a 50-year reunion that happened last year, and there were like 400 some odd people that came to that reunion, and they were all very excited about the new high school and all of the things that we've done, and to see that we're progressing, we're not stagnant, and it was really good feedback.
Dr. Lake showed the Farmers Club. They were super excited about that, of course. So, yeah. Anybody else? Okay, very good. Thank you so much. 7.03 announcements. We have none this evening. 7.04 is a review of upcoming Board of Education meeting agendas.
We meet again on Tuesday, October 15th for a board workshop and the regular Board of Education meeting. The board workshop topics are in the process of being planned, but may include a compass update, communications audit, communication covenants, and strength finder discussion. Then our regular Board of Education meeting agenda items may include regular monthly business items, the 75th anniversary resolution, official enrollment update, second reading and approval of the 2025-2026 school calendar, and Crestwood Elementary School is scheduled to be here for recognitions and to present their learning report. These meetings are open to the public and everyone is always encouraged to attend.
Thank you. 7.05 is Board of Education member appointments. We have none this evening. And 7.06 is our MSBA board report, and we'll share MSBA with you as well.
Welcome to the September edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. With schools across the state back in session, don't forget to share the excitement of students, staff, and the entire public school community with your local legislators. Invite your legislators to celebrate the return to school with a day touring your school district. MSBA President Jonathan Russell says that activities such as legislator visits are just part of year-round advocacy efforts.
Well, it's important because you don't want to the first time that you ask them about an issue to be at the Capitol when they're getting ready to vote on something. You want to have developed a relationship with them prior to that. So doing this during their time off when they're not in session and they're back in their districts is a perfect opportunity to start to develop that relationship.
When the legislature returns in January, Missouri is guaranteed to have a new governor, new leadership in both the House and Senate, and at least 58 new House members and 10 senators, almost a third of the legislature. MSBA's Senior Director of Governmental Relations, Brant Shields, says that there are ways that school board members can help these new legislators as they take office.
Legislators will look for trusted sources of information and advice on a variety of topics. And you are perfectly positioned to be a trusted voice on public education issues for your community. But the building of these relationships with legislators doesn't begin in January, it begins now. One of the best ways to engage current and future legislators is to invite them into your schools. Help show them the fantastic work your students and teachers are doing.
And with the start of the next legislative session just around the corner, make sure you don't miss the upcoming Fall Delegate Assembly. This Delegate Assembly is the chance to have your voice heard on issues surrounding public education as we head toward the next legislative session. The Fall Delegate Assembly will be held during the Friday of annual conference. And if you haven't registered for the conference yet, it's not too late. The 2024 MSBA Annual Conference, in cooperation with the Missouri Association of School Administrators and the Missouri Association of School Business Officials, will be held October 17th through the 19th in Kansas City. The event will once again feature numerous breakout sessions and workshops, many presented by school leaders from districts throughout the state, plus the Education Expo and another great lineup of general session speakers. And once again, the My Favorite Book Drive will be back at the annual conference as well. Donate your favorite pre-K through third grade book and be entered into a drawing to win 500 books from Scholastic. Increase your district's chance with your whole board's participation. At least 6 districts will win. Each winner will receive at least one curated Scholastic collection of books along with donated books. Winners will be announced at the second general session on Saturday. One of the primary areas of emphasis for Jonathan Russell during his year as president is literacy, and he says that the My Favorite Book Drive is a great way to help students.
I just want to extend a challenge to all board members to make sure that you bring some books to donate to our book drive at conference. For every book that you donate, you get your name put in a drawing to win some books for your school district. So I won last year, and that was amazing. I brought 3 books last year and got 3 chances to win. Literacy is the key to all education. You know, once you gain a really good, strong reading skills or a passion for reading, that opens so many other doors in every other subject.
That's it for this month. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and we'll see you in October for the next MSBA Board Report.
All right, thank you very much. 8.0, special reports, cabinet updates. Dr. McKinney?
Thank you. Our group met this month. We talked about district enrollment and preliminary enrollment update. That'll be reported officially at October's meeting, as was mentioned. We talked about support staff compensation market study, comprehensive. We're partnering with some other districts, and we'll be reporting specifically on that at the board workshop in October. So that's exciting. We do have some open positions, and we talked about some out-of-the-box thinking about how we advertise those through communication or collaboration with the communication department, promoting some of those openings to eligible student workers at Lindbergh High School, as well as some outsourcing research. We also talked about our CSRS retention and retirement incentive program, and we reviewed the monthly personnel report.
Thank you. Joelle?
We had our Finance Advisory Committee meeting. We have 2 active students on that committee. We talked a lot about, of course, the tax rate's the big thing that's happening this month, so there's a lot of back and forth conversation about how it works, and people do learn, you know, it's just not as simple as setting the rate and multiplying it times what your home is worth. There are triggers that lower the rate. So we went over all the finances presented tonight, budget amendments, and contracts.
Thank you. Dr. Sparks?
So each of the board advisories renewed this year. So we have a new fresh folks on it, students, a lot of students on student life, a couple on technology, and then one was in attendance for teaching and learning. Teaching and learning, we started off with introductions and then went through rotations of some of the work that we've been doing. The task force updates from last year, the work around our field trips and the Farmers Club, standards-based grading and learning at the middle school, and then also just developing an understanding of the curriculum cycle. So it was really just kind of a baseline focus of what are we doing, and we wanted that in small group conversations so it could be more interactive. For student life, we had a list of topics that were generated from last year's student life group, and then we delved in deeper to those, like what questions do you have about that, what do you want to study? Those topics ranged everywhere from artificial intelligence integration in our schools and in our classrooms to mental health support for our students. And then Dominic really wants to talk about I told Dominic, I'm like, you get to take technology in the future now that you're sitting up here. So, but I said I'd do it today. He's on next month. So technology, we reviewed the technology use agreements that the technology advisory created last year. We put those into place this year for the first time, and we're already seeing some benefits of having that level of clarity. And then also reviewed our fiber structure and how Wi-Fi is supported at each of our schools as that process is getting ready to go through a renewal. So that's where we are.
Okay. Thank you. 8.02, Student Representative Report. Ms. Laura Pimentel.
Okay, hi. So this month's report is going to talk a little bit about some competitions with our extracurricular activities at the high school. I'm also going to talk a little bit about some standardized test achievements that we've been having, and also a review of Sparing's RSBA Advisory Committee. So first of all, Lindbergh's Marching Band recently competed at their first competition of the season, which was the Metro East Marching Classic in O'Fallon, Missouri. Out of the 12 schools competing in the large schools category, our marching band placed second with their performance Fly On. Additionally, our varsity boys soccer team is off to a really strong start for this season. They won all 3 of their games during their tournament in Quincy, Illinois, and in the following weeks, they won 6-0 against CBC, 3-2 against Eureka, and then they tied 1-1 with Westminster, and tonight they're playing Melville. So last year, it was really cool to see our boys soccer team make their way to the Final Four, and so I think I can speak for the entire student body when I say I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season plays out for them. We also had 6 seniors be selected as National Merit semifinalists. That means that they scored in the top 3% in the country on the PSAT, and this is an incredible academic achievement for them because it opens the door for a lot of scholarships. And today, the class of 2026 took their practice ACT for the first 3 hours of the school day. Personally, this is one of the best things that I think the high school does to prepare students for post-secondary education. When they receive their scores back, they also get a score diagnosis, which highlights which parts of each section that they struggled with. So they'll know if they're struggling with math, they'll know exactly where in math they're struggling. So geometry, statistics, algebra, etc. which allows the students to self-study or find tutoring for the very specific topics that they struggle with on the ACT. Also, Lindbergh-Stuco recently announced the theme for the 2024 Homecoming Dance, which is Starry Night. The dance will take place on October 5th, a few hours after the parade and football game. And as a member of Stuco, I can say that the decorations this year are really good. Finally, last week we had our first RSBA meeting of the school year at Sparing Middle School. During this meeting, we were able to hear a lot of insight from the kids regarding a variety of topics, some of which were discussed completely unprompted by me, which was awesome because that means that they were passionate enough to bring it up on their own. Some highlights of our discussion included talking about standards-based grading, kind of exploring what the purpose of it is and how it differs from the traditional grading styles. Despite this switch not being very new, some of the students still had a couple questions, and those are being shared with the teaching and learning department for follow-up. Then we talked about school lunch, which is always a pretty hot topic for our RSBA committees. Students expressed wanting more reusable trays instead of styrofoam plates, and having more lunch options for people who don't eat meat. Finally, I talked to them about the district's future plans regarding the Farmers Club. A lot of the students actually didn't know anything about the future plans, but after I told them, they were all extremely excited about it. A lot of the students saw it as an opportunity to increase awareness of environmental problems and agricultural practices that are more sustainable, and provide students with the resources to become environmental change makers. So I think that's pretty cool. And all of the middle schoolers will be in high school by the time the project is done, so I think we definitely give them something to look forward to. And that is all I have for this month's report.
Nice job, thank you. 9.0, action items by consent. We have action items by consent, 9.01 to 9.11. Would anyone like to remove any of these items for individual consideration? Okay, hearing none. Do we have a motion to approve consent items 9.01 through 9.11?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes
One abstention.
with one abstention. 6-0, one abstention. Okay. 10.0, individual action items. 10.01 is the adoption of the estimated tax rate. Preceding this regular board meeting, we held our special hearing on the tax rates for 2024, where Joelle Scheibel presented the 2024 estimated tax rates, and citizens were given the opportunity to come forward and address the board regarding those proposed tax rates. It's now time to vote on the adoption of the estimated 2024 tax rates. Do I have a motion to approve the estimated 2024 tax rates as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions that you have that maybe weren't addressed previously? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. For the record, 11.01. We have two for the record reports this evening. 11.0101 is Career Technical Education, CTE Program Evaluation, and 11.0102, 2025-2026 school calendar. This is the first reading of the school calendar. For the record is for information only, and if you have any questions on either of these topics, you could speak to Dr. Sparks. Seems early to do the calendar, but I know it's not.
5-day weekend on my birthday next year.
11.02, other reports. There are none for this evening. 11.03 is review of board policies and procedures. There are none for this evening. 11.04 is resident-initiated agenda items. There are none this evening. And 12.0 is recess. There's no need for us to go to recess. We've already conducted executive session, so we'll move to 14.0 adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn Board of Education meeting number 1605?
So moved.
Second.
Jen and Matt in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 7-0. Motion passes 7-0. Board meeting number 16.1605 is adjourned.